Never thought I'd be sitting down with K-18. Up in the sky in New York City. Never thought that. Look at us now.
I can't do it.
Can you believe it?
I can't do it, yo. You're
Can you believe it?
You're crazy. Appreciate you taking the time, brother. I'm looking forward to this.
Appreciate you. Let's go.
We're gonna start easy.
Okay.
So, we met in 2009, I think. 8 or 9, it was one of the two. Right-ish? You were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I was like 25-ish or so.
Yeah.
I was living in LA, had just come back to the East Coast. I have very vivid memories of you, but I'll pause.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear your perspective on that, if you remember it.
Oh, no, I remember extremely well. So, I was playing for BBL at the time. We were coming around doing shooting clinics.
That's right.
And I think it was in the spring. So I was still playing in spring ball.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were coming to BBL for the shooting clinic. So I saw it online. I ran upstairs. I said, Mom, I'm going to this shooting clinic with Kyle. She said, you're playing too much lacrosse right now. Like another clinic. I said, no, I have to go. And I started showing her your highlights and all this stuff. And she said, all right, you can go. She said, all right, you can go. So I showed up. And I'm wearing all my best gear. You know, I'm trying to show out a little bit at the shooting clinic. And you come in, you start teaching shooting. Yeah. And I remember the big key, we were doing step downs, and it was, you know, you're like, you got to start with your back facing the net. You know, that's how you get power. So then I was shooting that ball as hard as I could. And like every time I missed, I would like look over and see if you were watching. I was the clinic, or I guess the camper of the day.
I remember.
So I got the stallion.
That's my memory.
Yeah.
Go on.
I got the stallion head, and oh my God, it made my like career at that point. Like I was jacked up. I still have the heads hanging on my wall in my parents' house.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, so for me, it's funny that you remember it that way. Yeah. Like the flip side of it on my end was I remember that you won the like camper of the day. I remember that. And then honestly, Trev, what stuck out the most about you is your personality. I remember I had flown in, I was like kind of young still, so I didn't even like really know how to rent a car. So I remember I had trouble doing that. And then I got lost coming to the clinic. So I was already like not in a great spot mentally. And I remember you just brightened up the whole room. And then when I look at this version of you now as the all-world player, the all-star, everything you've been able to accomplish, like that personality, that mentality is the same. And so that was my first impression of you. Well, the skill was there. Obviously you won camper of the day, but it was really how you carry yourself. And so for me, what I really want to ask you, brother, is you play a position, honestly, really the one position in the sport that every time you got to go out in the field, you're head-to-head with someone. It is one of the grittiest positions in all of sports. And I can honestly say, because I actually started to look it up over the last couple of weeks when I was going to talk to you, I don't think I've ever seen you get fired up. I don't think I've ever seen you foul out of frustration. I've never seen any of those things from you. And I think it really comes from your mentality of positivity and energy, and it's just how you've always been. At least it's what I've known of you since I met you in 8th grade. So where does that come from?
I think a couple things on that. Like, I think it's multifaceted for sure like that. I think with the Faceoff specifically, I think it's important to stay even-keeled. You know, I think that it's a position that if you get too high or too low, it can really throw you off. So I remember Coach Bill Tierney told me that my freshman year of college. I always wanted to have a good game. Like I always wanted to try to play my best. So if I didn't, you know, I would be pretty hard on myself, you know, and he's like, you know, you gotta stay even keeled. You know, you don't let that take yourself out for the rest of the game. And I feel like that was something that I always worked on. But I would say as far as the positivity goes, you know, I think I got into lacrosse because it was fun. You know, I played other sports that I was more serious with. And lacrosse was something I did in the spring because a lot of my friends did it. So it was something that I always looked at as like, this is a good way for me to have fun and be competitive. I think as I start to progress as a player, that enjoyment always stayed with it. And once that started to slip, I noticed that I wasn't playing as well. You know, like I noticed that I would hit a wall or it was hard for me to take that next step. But when it was all about having fun, like shooting in the backyard or playing 3x and things, like that's when I noticed that I got the best.
Yep.
You know, and I feel like it's such a limited window.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
right.
I feel that now, more than ever. Like, you only get so many shots at it. You only get so many years to play.
That's right.
So it's like you gotta enjoy yourself a little bit. You gotta enjoy yourself a little bit.
Look, man, I think for you, that's what's impressed me the most, and I think it's easier said than done. Like, somehow you have figured out a way to like make it seem like all's good. Like, you lose one, you win one, whatever, and it's impressive, and it's certainly something I admire.
No, I appreciate that.
So the kid that I met in 8th grade could shoot it. Like, you were doing everything. At what point was there a transition from I'm doing everything to becoming a face-off athlete, and that's what my focus is?
Yeah, it was really college. Freshman year of college. So when I started playing lacrosse, I started playing defense. I switched to attack, and then in high school, I probably wasn't going to start at attack in varsity. So they're like, hey, let's have you play midfield. Like, you can get up and down the field. So I started playing midfield. And then our backup face-off guy was battling some injuries. We're like, we need somebody to jump in there when he can't go. So they were like, we think you'd be good at it. Why don't you learn how to face off? So I learned how to face off. I was like, I like this. I definitely had like a knack for it to start. Then by the time I was a junior, senior, I was taking all the face-offs, playing midfield. So I think all that other stuff with lacrosse came first. Face-offs kind of came towards the end, I guess of like my youth career, right?
Sure.
And then I committed to Franklin and Marshall. And I committed there as like a midfielder, like I was going to take face-offs, play offense, probably play defense as well. And then Denver just reached out March of my senior year. And they're like, hey, like, we really need another face-off guy. But, they're pretty like clear from the start. They're like, if you come here, like, you're taking face-offs. You're not playing midfield, So I had to make that decision of like, what if I wanted to just take face-offs or if I wanted to play midfield. And I just thought playing in Denver was an opportunity that I couldn't let go. So went to Denver, and that was really, that was it. It was face-offs from that point. Then I jumped in the sandbox, and
became the best one that's done it. That's crazy. So help me understand, you mentioned Denver. You win a national championship your freshman year, right? And I think about my career, we had to like keep getting a little better every year. We won senior year, thankfully, so it wasn't like a big 4-year waste. But like, how did you stay motivated? You win one freshman year, you're a first-team All-American, and then you go on for the next 3 years to be a 3-time first-team All-American, 4 times for your college career. Like, what was the mentality winning that freshman year for the next 3 years? Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I love that perspective on it, because I think when I was a freshman, even looking back at it, I think that team was due to win. Like, we were so close, making the Final Four year after year after year. We lost to Duke, I think, the year before, and that was like the stag too. That's when they went back to back. And this year, from like the point we got on campus, it was like it was like championship or bust kind of. I don't feel like we put that pressure on ourselves, but you understand that we were a talented team. So reaching that goal and getting that, it was awesome. But we didn't really graduate a ton. Like, we graduated West, who was like toured and finalist and unbelievable. But a lot of our offensive players stayed. A lot of our defensive players stayed. So we were like, we have to, like, the expectation was like, we got to do this again. Like, if we don't do it again, then like we should. Like, if we shouldn't, we didn't really reach our potential. So I think that was I think maybe there was too much pressure that next year to do it again. I think part of me was feeling like, I don't want it to seem like it was a fluke or like it was luck, And I think also kind of back to that individual sport mentality. I felt like I'd need to do better than I did the year before, So I felt like, okay, if that was my freshman season, then your sophomore season, you should be better.
You gotta go prove it again.
You should be, right? I think you gotta be careful when you start thinking like that, But I don't think motivation was ever a problem for me. Like, it was very much like, I gotta be better.
Yeah. So, Trev, help me understand this. I'm old enough, I've gotten to see the all-time greats, right? I've gotten to see Paul Cantabene. I've gotten to see Greg Grenlin. I've gotten to see these dudes that are all-time. For you, at the pro level, what makes Trevor Baptiste great? Like, I've watched rules change. I've watched you in different leagues. you do not change, you just get better. And so what is your edge that makes you the guy that you are?
It's a tough question.
Yeah, for sure. Give me technique. I'm talking like specific. What is
specific
it?
technique?
Like what makes? Because I watch it all.
Now. You're talking X's and O's now.
You're stupid. I'm watching you. I watched it all, and I watch fast whistles, slow whistles. I watch counters. I'm not even putting myself in the conversation as a face-off. I mean, that's not what I'm implying. I was nothing like you or anybody else.
I think what is it? Top 5 Team USA face-off?
I can't imagine. Right? There's no way.
I think it's top 5.
Maybe because I took 5 of them.
I think I think it was top 5.
No, somebody lied to you. It wasn't. But like for you, I watch how you just continue to evolve and continue to improve, and I'm just curious. Like there's clearly something. I don't know if it's how quickly you hear the whistle. I don't know if hand speed. What is it? There's got to be something specific. At least you think.
Yeah. No. I think you kind of hit it there in like evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that. I'm going to go on a tangent with this, but
please.
You know what? We're out here.
Yeah,
so
we're here.
I think that coming into the game, especially playing at the University of Denver, and kind of making that decision of being a face-off guy, you know, I think there was part of me for a really long time that felt like if you're a great face-off guy, you're a great face-off guy, you're not a great player. I think that was a narrative that was going through lacrosse.
Got it.
You know, I kind of took that personally.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it doesn't matter how well you do at the X, you're still just the guy at the X. You're not a player, you know? So through my college and pro career, I took a lot of focus on evolving in other areas of my game and just evolving my lacrosse IQ. And I think that does a lot for your overall game, you know, especially when you're talking about rule changes, evolving of the face-off, schematics, right? Like, I think that I've gotten to know that. So I'm not just looking at things through the lens of like the downset whistle.
Yep.
Just understand what the keys are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Along those lines, Trev, obviously face-offs are a hot topic in the sport.
Oh, it's hot.
At all times.
It's hot.
Everybody's got an opinion, some good, some bad, whatever, indifferent. What's one thing you'd want people to know about face-offs that only someone in your position, and I'm not saying new rule, I'm not putting you in that position. I'm saying just one thing that you could only know if you were at this level of facing off that people need to consider when they're thinking about rule changes and things of that nature.
I would just say just how, like, it's not easy. I would say that. It's not easy.
Sure.
And I think, kind of back to that point, it's like, oh, like, well, he just faces off. Like, you're just facing off. You know, it's like, well, if it's just that, then why doesn't everyone just do it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that are doing it at a very high level. You need to be athletic. Like, you need to be strong. You need to be able to pick the ball up. You need to be able to handle the ball in pressure, you know? That's not easy. Yeah. That's not easy. And on top of all that, you know, I think you said before, you can't hide. You know, like you, especially in the pros, like there's no one else to go do it for you. Like you can be having a great day, you can be having an off day, right?
Yep.
You got to go strap up and figure it out. You know, you got to go find it. You got to go find it. And I don't think that there's a lot of positions like that on the field. I would say goalie might be another one. But there's a backup goalie. There's a backup goalie, you know, and that's not to take away anything from any other position, you know, but if we're talking specifically to the face-off, like it's very rare, you know, and I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more.
Please, we're here.
I don't think there is another position in lacrosse and in sport a lot that two guys are doing the same thing against each other. You know, when you're playing lacrosse, it's, you know, shooter versus goalie, off, you know, long pull versus attackman, defense versus offense. One guy is trying to cover you while you're trying to do something. Two guys are actively trying to do the same thing and then battle for that ball. There's pressure with that, and there's also like, there's a certain competitive edge with that as well. Yeah. There's a mental game with that.
Maybe bigger than the physical game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Can be.
Yeah.
Can be.
Depending on how your day's going.
That's right.
Yeah. So next one for you, Trav.
That was a lot.
What's that?
That was a lot right there.
We out here. So you've literally done everything. You're going to leave this game as the most accomplished face-off athlete there has ever been. What keeps you going? Because before the cameras turned on, I for whatever reason, because you've been dominant for so long, I thought you were older. You're 29, so we still got years left. What keeps you going every single day?
I don't know. I think like a big piece of it is like I don't really see myself like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's like I just think I think I can be better. Like I think that it's a good and bad thing. It's a double-edged sword, right? I think I look at my shortfalls more than I look at the successes.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's great to keep you going and to motivate you. But it can't be all negatively looked at yourself. You know, so that's something that I'm actively trying to understand as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we seen the best Trevor Baptiste yet?
I hope not.
That's right.
I mean, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna.
You're 29. You're in your prime. Like we haven't seen the best version of you yet.
I mean, yeah, I would.
This is crazy.
I mean, theoretically, but I'm just gonna keep trying to do my best.
It's not theoretical. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. We're, for all intents and purposes, we're at the halfway point, let's say, of your career. We'll see, give or take.
Yeah,
right?
we'll see.
Give or take. You might play to your 45 for all we know.
I mean,
it could happen. Them hands don't slow down.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
The knees do. Let me tell you, though, they do, man.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
Yeah.
But let's say we're at the halfway point, man. You've accomplished so much since becoming a pro.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about what that means to you, and then talk to me about what the next 10 years look like.
Yeah, I think like so far it's just been a really fulfilling journey playing pro, and I think that I've learned so much about myself. So many challenges on the field, but especially off the field too. Like whether it's the travel and doing this whole pro lacrosse thing, the ups and the downs of it, and everything that comes with that.
Yeah,
I'm extremely grateful for that. I think there was a time where I was questioning it because I think it's so natural for people to find something to relate to, and especially as like a bar of success or like a bar of like, okay, like I'm going down the right path here, and I think with pro lacrosse, it's interesting when you're talking somewhere, you're like, oh yeah, I play pro lacrosse, and they're like, oh well, I've never heard of that, or like, you play, I didn't, so do you like, did you pay for your flight? Like, do you your team?
Sometimes.
Like asking like just great, outlandish questions. And I think it comes with just pro sports. Because like you're used to seeing like, NFL, NBA. Like, oh,
for sure.
This guy signed for $1 kajillion.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you play pro lacrosse. Like, how much you get paid?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's like, I'm like taking care of myself. I'm doing okay. It's taught me that, you got to create your path, and you got to just stick with it and go for it. I'm just focused on like leaning into that and just being like really just trying to be the best player, but also I think I put a lot more focus on just being the best teammate as well, and like trying to let people know that they can do that as well, and I think that's what the game needs. Hopefully I can give other guys that feeling where it's like, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm out here just doing it on my own, and I think that I've been fortunate enough to have you in that, like I think you were a big outlet for me.
Appreciate that.
Do you think that you felt similarly, or?
No, man, I mean, if I look at you're 29, get your whole damn life in front of you, but I think about when I'm 42, so I think I was lucky, man. I got drafted to a team that had Jesse Hubbard. So Jesse Hubbard was like doing the pro lacrosse thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he was with Warrior, he was making products, he was a full-time professional lacrosse player, right? So I just attached myself to him and tried to learn as much from him as I possibly could for those few years I was in New Jersey. And I went through the same stuff you're going. Like look, you're talking about people making fun of you for playing pro lacrosse. Listen to how STX set me up. So I signed with them. It's a great story. They get me a Jeep. It was like part of my deal. They get me a Jeep. And so your boy was fired up. I'm like, they got me a Cherokee.
Yeah.
Like, I don't got to pay for gas. Like, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Budget-wise.
That
Jeep,
Cherokee was nice
that's
back
what I'm
that
saying.
year. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying,
I'm
right?
with you.
So
Yeah,
it was back 2005. I think they got me a 2005 Cherokee.
Yeah.
So it was new.
I don't know a 5 Cherokee.
And so, you're stupid. And so I go to the World Games. I came back. Cherokee's not there. I think there's a problem. Turns out STX took the Cherokee.
They took the Cherokee.
They wrapped the Cherokee. So now my Cherokee has my face on the side of it. It says K18 step up. And that's a joint that I'm driving everywhere. And so you talking about like people making fun of you, I remember we drive down the street and people were making fun of us. Yeah. But I was like, make fun of me all you want. Free whip, free gas, dog. Joke's on you. How much you paying for gas a month? But that was the young days, right? So that was whatever. But I'm learning from hubby, and then fortunate enough to get traded to LA, moved out to LA. Hubby gets traded to LA, so I was around him even more out there. And so yeah, man, no different from what I'm sure you're doing for young guys now. Like I just tried to attach myself to a dude that was doing what I want to do, pick his brain as much as possible. And then I was lucky, man, lasted 17 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you were to say in your career, if there was one thing that you, I guess, appreciated the most, and if you were to change anything, would you change something?
Those are two.
Yeah, those are hard questions. You didn't know I had it like that. Yeah.
Look,
chairs have turned. Chairs have turned.
Appreciated the most, man. I based on the way I played, I'm a guy as a player that benefited very heavily from everybody else around me, like allowing me to like play offense, play defense, play in the middle of the field. So like, if I would say one thing I appreciate is I really lucked out with teammates and coaches. Feeling confident in yourself and your ability and your role within a team is heavily reliant on how these people treat you, right? Yeah. And so if they create an environment that you like feel good about yourself and you feel comfortable and confident that you can be your true self, typically you play your best because you feel your best. So I was fortunate, man, that from Friends to Hopkins to most of my pro career, that's what I was around. It was around just teammates and coaches that were just dope and like empowering and build incredible culture. So I'd say that's what I appreciate the most. If I could change one thing, maybe I would have played indoor. Yeah. So I think from a skill perspective, I probably would have gotten more skilled stick work wise. I would have understood the two-man game more. I feel like when I look back at my career and I think about some of these ridiculous offensive players these days, because I wasn't terribly skilled, like so much had to go right for me to like do something, like score. I had to like run by someone, shoot it on the run.
This camera behind me.
No, look, watch these catch. Like we're just talking to O'Neill about the toe drags, all that stuff. I
showed my mom your highlights, bro.
It was a bunch of running by people.
It wasn't.
No, don't you put me out there.
Everything was going the way it was supposed to.
And I was running by people. So if I would have played indoor, I probably would have had more skills to my game. Yeah. It's not a regret by any means. I just think I watch what happens to some of these American players that go play indoor for a few. I watch what happened to Paul after he played indoor and how much like he got so much better at the two-man game and he got skilled. You watch Schreiber go play indoor. Now you're watching Brennan go. Like you're watching these guys that are elite all-timers outdoor go play indoor and somehow get better and then bring it back out in the field. So again, definitely not a regret, but I would have loved to give it a shot for sure.
No, I hear that.
If you could go back to that kid that I met at the clinic, 8th grade.
Yeah.
What would he think of where Trevor Baptiste is now?
Oh man, he probably wouldn't believe it. He wouldn't believe I'm not just saying that. He would not believe it. Yeah, no chance. I think that, I think a part of it was like, how I looked at lacrosse, right? Yeah. Like I looked at it as fun, but also I thought I was gonna go D3 and there was nothing wrong with that, and I was happy about that. Like I was amped up to go to Franklin or Marshall. Yeah. I was excited. I never thought pro lacrosse was gonna be in the cards. Yeah. Never thought I'd be doing lacrosse full time. Yeah. Even like at my junior year of college, I was kind of like, I guess like I'm gonna play pro. Yeah. Like I guess that's possible. That's next. And, I think it was honestly the USA tryout in 2018. Yep. Going through that, and I was like, I could hang. Yeah. Like I can hang with these guys, So I don't know if it's just, I don't want to say like a lack of self-confidence. I don't want to say that, but I just would not have guessed. I would not have guessed it. Would not have guessed it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, keep inspiring, brother. I appreciate you taking the time. Man.
Never thought I'd be sitting down with K18. Up in the sky in New York City. Never thought that. Look at us now.
I can't do it.
Can you believe it?
I can't do it, yo. You're crazy.
You believe it?
You're crazy.
Never thought be out here carrying too. Look at this guy. Oh, let's hop on a blade. Let's hop on a blade, bro. Let's get the chopper out here.
You're a lunatic. Absolute lunatic.
Pretty early on in my lacrosse career, I was having crowds, and they expect a good performance,
Yeah, for
you know?
sure.
So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think you always had that in your mind.